Healthcare fraud is frequently picked up by insurers. They have compliance officers. They have their own integrity units that constantly review the work performed by those physicians and other providers who are on their panels. And they're able to compare more or less what one provider does versus another. And if you have one particular person who seems to be an outlier, maybe this person is billing so much more than his peer group, or maybe he's focusing on some single procedure or some cluster of procedures where he's billing these over and over again at very high numbers. Frequently, insurers will pick up those frauds. Now, they may investigate those themselves. In the case of private insurers, if it's a Medicare supplemental policy that does the initial investigation, Medicare is by definition involved, and they may get the government involved by way of the U.S. Attorney's Office. There are very strict procedural requirements that are required to state a healthcare fraud action. The relator has to file an affidavit describing the fraud. It has to be in depth. It has to be material. The relator practically has to have an almost complete knowledge of every aspect of the fraud to state a claim in today's world, because of some case law that's out there that makes these cases even more challenging. Once the relator provides the disclosure, the matter is initially filed in the federal district court under seal, where no one has access to it. And that occurs for at least 6 months so that the government can investigate the claims. And I say at least 6 months. Under the statute, it remains under seal for at least 60 days, but the government can virtually never investigate these matters in 60 days. So it's very common to request consent orders to extend the seal over a prolonged period of time. I've got one fraud case now that's been under seal since 2017, which was 4+ years ago. And, we're still waiting on the government to complete their investigation. So again, it stays under seal for purposes of confidentiality and allowing the government to do an in-depth investigation. At that point, the government makes a decision as to whether they want to intervene and move forward on the case themselves, or at all times the relator has the opportunity to do it his or herself, and that involves the virtual necessity of an attorney who understands healthcare fraud. So again, find someone who's experienced, who knows what they're doing, and can work with you if you suspect you've been the victim of fraud.